It's the talk station, AM1500 KSTP. Good morning. It's 10:07 with Prebil and Murphy. Sean Prebil's over there. I'm Chris Murphy, 651-646-8255. You can also email the studio at am1500.com. Well, the article in the Star Tribune popped up about the state GOP complaining about mayors campaigning and whether or not they're going to go for governor or not. They're both up for re-election here in the next coming year. We have Tony Sutton from the GOP with us. Tony, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess the first question that would pop into everybody's mind about this is this how different is this from Tim Pawlenty's situation where it appears clear that he's looking to angle toward president?
Well, I think the situation is like night and day. I mean, Governor Pawlenty has dissolved his campaign committee for governor and will be forming a committee to raise money to explore his national ambitions. It's a completely night and day situation. What's happening in Minneapolis and St. Paul is you have two mayors who are running for mayor, exploring running for governor while using those campaign funds from the mayoral campaign to help finance that. And we think that the Campaign Finance Board needs to take a look at it.
Is it, in your analysis, is what they are doing right now, Rybeck and Coleman, is that legal?
Well, I think it's really up for the Campaign Finance and Public Disclosure Board to tell us. I mean, the law seems pretty clear to us that if you raise or spend more than $100 seeking an office, state office, for example, governor, you have to file a campaign committee. And Chris Coleman has been very open as press spokespeople, been very open about how he is interested in running for governor. And
sure.
Traveling on his campaign dime to events that have little or nothing to do with running for mayor.
Is that campaign money, or that's not taxpayer money though? That's his campaign fund.
Campaign money, but it's money that was raised for the purposes of running for mayor. And I know it may seem like sort of an esoteric or semantical difference, but legally, when you're running for governor, you have to have a separate committee, and there's separate rules for how you raise that money than there is when you run for mayor.
Let's, we all see this. We're watching Barack Obama on TV right now. He went from being a senator to be president. Typically, politicians almost play the Tarzan role, and they're real hesitant to let go of that last vine before they grab the next one. I think that, I guess, the best way to describe it. But would it be an issue for you? I mean, let's just say hypothetically these guys do each, which I think I think we're all kind of saying, yeah, they're going to do it. If they do it, aren't they legally allowed even to take that campaign money out of their mayoral campaign and transfer it over to their gubernatorial one?
I actually don't know the answer to that question. I don't know if they can do that or not. It was certainly raised for a different purpose, and there's different limits. So I would think they couldn't. Yeah,
but routinely let's just say hypothetically both of these guys chose not even to run, not only not to run for governor, but decided, I'm out of the mayor's race. They can certainly take that money and either funnel it into the party, or funnel it into other campaigns, or funnel it into charity.
Well, right. Well, certainly for state elections, like Governor Pawlenty did, he's able to do that because that's how you dissolve those committees for any leftover funds. But it's not just something they decide to do. It's something the rules are set up that tells them how they go about doing it and what the options are. And so this is something that's a little different. And that's why we're asking, for the Campaign Finance Board to tell us.
Well, I was going to say the other danger is if these guys plan on running for governor, or if they're going to, announce it. One of the things I found interesting was over the weekend, and I'm assuming you probably read this, is Rybeck, who's not even announced that he's running for governor, is already getting endorsements.
Well,
the Teamsters, am I right on that? Did I read that properly?
Right. Exactly. I think that, look, there's posturing, and I know why they're posturing for. They want to, they're running for mayor right now, and so they presumably are they don't want to look like they're jumping to the next office because they think it'll hurt them from an election standpoint. But they're all but campaigning for governor. So the real question is, all the other Democrat candidates for governor have gubernatorial campaign committees. And, it's interesting that, Chris Coleman can take time to run around the state, run around the country, running for mayor, and he can't take the time to debate his opponent even here in St. Paul. He's kind of putting the cart before the horse in this case. And, And if I was him, I would concentrate on the problems here in St. Paul, because there are plenty.
Hello?
Yes?
Are there? Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. You cut out there real quickly. What were you saying? Problems in St. Paul?
There are problems because there are problems. There are plenty of problems in St. Paul he should be concentrating on, rather than running around talking about running for governor, or dodging and ducking his opponent Eva Ng for debate.
Yeah, and Tony, I don't understand exactly how these campaign laws work either. I guess to me, as a guy who's just kind of watching this stuff, especially when we start hearing about endorsements for unannounced campaigns, you almost feel like there's the wink and nod, the smile, wink and nod that goes on in some of these backroom politics, where some of these deals are being made, and it's all but apparent these guys are running for governor, yet they're not making it known to you and I, to the general public, that that's their intention. So it almost feels like we're being excluded from the political process here.
Well, it is a little too clever by half. I mean, I don't know who they're kidding or who they're fooling. I don't know if they're, this sort of fake angst about wanting to run for governor is perhaps endearing to some supporters, but
sure.
But this is what they're doing. Well, let's just be upfront about it. If you're going to do things where you're running for governor, you're preparing to run for governor, just go down, file the paperwork. It takes about 10 minutes, and set up a little bank account and raise money for that purpose. And that's what we think is the proper way to do this. And we'll see what the Campaign Finance Board comes up with. I mean, to us, the law is pretty clear.
And obviously he hasn't announced yet, but when the governor, when Palente's traveling around the state, who's funding that, or around the country for that matter, who's funding that? Is that money coming out of his campaign for governor fund, or are those all paid for by these organizations that are having him speak?
Well, I don't know the particulars of how his travel is being paid for. Mm-hmm. Specifically, I know it's not being paid for by his gubernatorial campaign committee because it's been dissolved, and it's not being paid for by the taxpayer. And I think that the governor will be or is in the process of putting together an organization that will do just that. Mm-hmm. And so and I know the governor very well. It will all be 100% airtight, and perfectly above board. The difference here is to us pretty clear. I mean, if you don't play the game, give the voters and people more credit. Don't be sort of this fake coy about running. If you're going to run, form a little committee, do it the right way, and don't try and use your mayoral campaign as a sort of an extra slush fund for your campaign for governor.
State GOP Chair Tony Sutton is with us. Tony, kind of an unrelated thing from the mayors, the National GOP Chair came out and was critical of Barack Obama's trip to the International Olympic Committee to pitch the Olympics coming to Chicago. What is the state's GOP feeling on that particular move, and would we see any kind of residual from the Olympics being close in Chicago?
And look, as an American, I think it'd be great if the Olympics were in Chicago as a Midwesterner. I think it'd be great because I think they've talked about there'd be some of the tournaments, soccer tournaments, I think would be played over at TCF Bank Stadium. It'd be fantastic for the state. But, I mean, I don't know. There are so many bigger fish to fry for the president. I don't know if he's noticed that we're in a recession. Mm-hmm. We've got some problems here at home, and running off to cheerlead for the Olympics, which is unprecedented. I don't know what the real purpose is for that.
Well, I would think, though, there would be some kind of economic benefit from having the Olympics here. That I realize that's down the pipeline in 2016, but that would be beneficial to the economy, wouldn't it?
Maybe to the economy in Chicago. Maybe it's the Chamber of Commerce in Chicago needs to be pushing. I mean, if we're banking on the 2016 Olympics to bail us out of our recession, I think we're reaching a little far. I mean, the president. If this is what we're down to, where the president of the United States has got to cheerlead to bring in conventioneers to America, we're in bigger trouble than we think.
All right, Tony Sutton, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
All right, talk to you later. 10:17 right now.